Melania, what she puts up with.
The health crisis surrounding Donald Trump has become a viral topic, captivating both the media and the public. What initially began as subtle rumours about his well-being has snowballed into a national conversation, igniting debates over his fitness for office. While the Trump administration has steadfastly avoided releasing a detailed medical report, this has only fueled the speculation, with pundits, medical experts, and ordinary citizens offering their opinions on his condition. The story has been amplified by social media, where theories, ranging from plausible to outlandish, spread rapidly. Beyond his physical health, the conversation touches on broader issues of transparency, leadership, and the fine line between privacy and public accountability. The early whispers. A nation on edge. It all began in early January 2025, a time when the global media landscape was typically consumed with the usual concerns: political turmoil, entertainment gossip, and the rapid pace of social media trends. Yet, amid this cacophony, a quieter, more insidious topic began to gain traction: Donald Trump's health. It began innocuously enough, with occasional whispers in smaller, less mainstream forums. But these whispers began to grow louder, eventually catching the attention of mainstream media outlets, political commentators, and even the average social media user. Trump, a man known for his larger-than-life persona and unabashed self-promotion, had always been a staple of the public eye. But the frequent appearances that had once defined his political career began to fade. Once a fixture of rallies, speeches, and media interviews, Trump's public appearances became noticeably infrequent in the first few weeks of the year. For a man who thrived in the limelight, eagerly commanding attention and feeding off the energy of large crowds, his absence raised immediate concern. What was happening to the man who once seemed invincible, confident in his ability to captivate audiences for hours? People began to wonder, was he ill? And if so, what exactly was going on? The catalyst: an unexpected cancellation. The situation escalated rapidly after a key event was suddenly cancelled. Trump had been scheduled to attend a high-profile fundraiser, one that was expected to draw significant media coverage. The official reason cited for the cancellation was scheduling conflicts, but many were not convinced. Given Trump's love for publicity and his tendency to appear at events like this, the announcement immediately raised suspicions. Shortly after, photos from a private gathering began to surface online, showing Trump looking visibly tired, almost uncharacteristically subdued. In these leaked images, his facial expression appeared flat, his posture slouched, and his energy levels appeared much lower than usual. These rare glimpses into what seemed like a more vulnerable version of the man only fueled further speculation. If he was unwell, was there more to it than anyone was letting on? Or was this just a temporary dip in energy? The public was left to wonder, and social media platforms quickly exploded with theories and guesses. The media frenzy, from rumours to front-page news. By mid-January 2025, what had initially been subtle rumours had transformed into major headlines. The media, always quick to jump on stories that captured the public's imagination, began to dig deeper. Analysts and commentators dissected every one of Trump's public appearances, scrutinising his body language for any signs of health issues. Trump had always taken pride in his boundless energy, often boasting about his stamina and ability to endure the grueling pace of a campaign trail. Yet, now, he was noticeably different. His speeches, once long-winded and punctuated by fiery rhetoric, were now shorter and less dynamic. His movements, too, seemed slower and more deliberate, with some commentators even suggesting that he appeared more fatigued than ever. Body language experts began weighing in, pointing out subtle changes in his posture, his facial expressions, and even his breathing. Were these signs of aging, or were they indicative of something more serious? In an age where social media thrives on sensationalism, speculation about Trump's health exploded online. Memes and viral posts flooded Twitter and Instagram, with users dissecting his every word, movement, and glance. Social media algorithms further fueled the frenzy, amplifying whatever content garnered the most engagement. This amplified the debate, drawing in an ever wider audience, each with their own theories about what might be happening. The polarization of opinion. As the speculation mounted, a stark polarization began to emerge. On one side, Trump's staunch supporters rallied to his defense, dismissing concerns as politically motivated attacks aimed at undermining his credibility. For many, these rumors were nothing more than a baseless attempt by the political establishment and the media to discredit the man who had successfully defied conventional politics. Hashtags like #TrumpStrong trended on social media as his followers expressed their unwavering belief in his resilience and vitality. "He's just fine," they claimed. "The media is trying to tear him down because they're afraid of what he represents." On the other side, critics of the Trump administration seized upon the rumors to fuel their own agenda. They questioned the president-elect's fitness for leadership, wondering if his health would prevent him from performing the duties of the office. The hashtag #Transparency Now became a rallying cry for those demanding that the Trump administration release more detailed information about his health. Would he be able to handle the intense pressure of leading the nation, or was his health already becoming a potential liability? The response? Silence, then a brief statement. For a time, Trump's team remained uncharacteristically silent in response to the growing speculation. Historically, the Trump administration had been quick to address controversies and control narratives, but this time, the lack of response only fueled further rumors. The silence suggested either an unwillingness or an inability to address the growing concerns. Finally, after several days of mounting pressure, Trump's team issued a brief statement on January 19, 2025. It read, "President-elect Trump is in excellent health and continues to meet the demands of his position with vigor." But the statement did little to quiet the public's concerns. Skeptics pointed out that similar statements had been made in the past, statements that had later been contradicted by more detailed disclosures about Trump's health. The statement was vague, offering little concrete information. Was there something more to the story? People began to doubt the official narrative. The speculation grows. Theories and conspiracies. As the media continued to cover the issue, even more theories began to surface. Some news outlets brought in medical professionals to speculate on the cause of Trump's apparent fatigue, though none had actually examined him in person. Theories ranged from minor ailments, such as a bad cold or flu, to more serious conditions, like early stages of neurological decline. Each theory added a layer of intrigue, feeding the frenzy even further. Conspiracy theories also began to emerge, some more outlandish than others. Claims surfaced about secret hospital visits, hidden medical conditions, and even alleged cover-ups involving high-profile figures. While many of these theories were quickly debunked, they nonetheless contributed to the viral nature of the story. The sheer volume of speculation made it impossible to discern fact from fiction, leaving the public with only more questions. The public's right to know, a question of transparency. What made this health crisis so captivating was the combination of mystery, intrigue, and public interest. Trump's larger-than-life personality had always attracted intense scrutiny, but now, any sign of vulnerability, the slightest hint of illness, was enough to send the media and social media into overdrive. Yet, this wasn't just about curiosity, it was about the future of the country. As the incoming president, Trump's health was a matter of national interest. Could he handle the pressures of office? Would his physical condition hinder his ability to make critical decisions? People wanted to know if he was fit to lead the country. Unlike past presidents, who often kept their health issues private, the digital age meant that no detail, however minor, could remain hidden for long. And this was a nation already deeply divided politically, with the health debate quickly becoming another battleground in the ongoing culture war. Historical comparisons. The precedent of presidential health scrutiny. Throughout American history, the health of public figures, especially presidents, has always been a subject of public curiosity. From Franklin D. Roosevelt's polio to John F. Kennedy's struggles with Addison's disease, health issues have often been downplayed or hidden by political leaders. In Trump's case, however, the digital age ensured that no secret would remain hidden for long. The scrutiny of his health became more intense than anything experienced by past presidents, in part because of the constant flow of real-time information through social media platforms and news outlets. By February 2025, the situation had reached a fever pitch. Online sleuths scoured every scrap of footage for clues. One particular video of Trump exiting a building where he appeared to limp slightly went viral, reigniting speculation about his health. Was it simply an injury, or was it a sign of something more serious? Without concrete information, every new discovery, no matter how small, was dissected and analysed to support various theories. Speculation and skepticism. The underlying tensions. However, for many of Trump's critics, the rally did little to quell the growing sense of unease. Questions continued to swirl in the wake of the event. Why had Trump avoided addressing the issue for so long? Was it because he feared the truth would be revealed in a more damaging way? Or was there something else at play, a more deliberate attempt to avoid full transparency about his medical condition? His supporters may have cheered, but the lingering questions continued to fester among those who had been paying closer attention. Why, critics asked, had the details of his medical evaluations been so vague? His medical team had, in the past, offered only cryptic statements about his excellent health, but these vague affirmations did little to reassure the public. The medical community had long stressed the importance of concrete data, specific metrics about his blood pressure, cholesterol levels, cognitive abilities, and overall fitness. Without these tangible details, the public could not be sure of his true condition. His team's reluctance to provide any meaningful information only served to deepen the mystery. Adding to the skepticism was the fact that Trump, while still projecting an image of strength, appeared less animated than usual. His movements were measured, his speech a little slower. There was an undeniable sense that he was not quite the dynamic figure he had once been. The crowd may have been applauding his words, but some were beginning to wonder if his health was truly as robust as he claimed. The medical community weighs in. In the aftermath of the rally, the conversation surrounding Trump's health evolved. The medical community, long silent on the matter, finally began to weigh in. Prominent physicians appeared on news panels, offering their expert opinions on Trump's comments and the broader issue of health transparency for leaders. One prominent physician, Dr. Karen Matthews, appeared on a popular news show to discuss the implications of Trump's statements. "Someone is in excellent health doesn't tell us much," she explained, her voice calm yet assertive. "We need to know specifics: blood pressure, cholesterol levels, cognitive assessments. These are the kinds of details that can give us a clearer picture of someone's health, especially someone in a high-stakes role like the president." Matthews's words struck a chord with many viewers, particularly those who felt that Trump's refusal to provide detailed medical records was symptomatic of a larger problem, one of transparency, or rather, the lack thereof. It was not just about Trump's health, they argued, but about a system that seemed content to keep the public in the dark when it came to crucial matters of national interest. Calls for transparency, advocacy, and legislation. The growing concern about transparency in leadership didn't stop at the medical community. Advocacy groups, composed of both medical professionals and non-partisan political organisations, began to push for formal protocols regarding the disclosure of health information for high-ranking officials. These groups argued that the public had a right to know whether those in power were fit to carry out the demanding responsibilities of their positions. A petition began circulating on a popular government platform, gathering over 50,000 signatures in a matter of days. The petition called for the implementation of legislation requiring candidates and sitting presidents to release their full medical records on an annual basis. This proposal ignited fierce debate, with some arguing that it was a necessary step toward ensuring accountability, while others claimed it was an overreach that violated personal privacy. Despite the petition's success in garnering attention, the idea of mandating full medical disclosures remained a contentious issue. Many saw it as a step toward greater accountability, arguing that the health of political leaders should be considered a matter of national interest. Others, however, viewed it as an infringement on personal privacy, a dangerous precedent that could be abused for political purposes. The issue was complicated by the fact that many historical precedents, such as Franklin D. Roosevelt's battle with polio and John F. Kennedy's struggles with Addison's disease, had been kept secret from the public during their presidencies. The intersection of health, privacy, and leadership. The ongoing debate about Trump's health and the calls for more transparency touched on a broader, more philosophical question. What does it mean for a leader to be fit for office? How much should the public be allowed to know about a leader's personal health? And where should the line be drawn between the leader's right to privacy and the public's right to know? Throughout history, the health of political leaders has often been a subject of both public fascination and concern. Roosevelt's polio, for example, was carefully concealed from the public for much of his presidency. Although he was unable to walk unaided, his physical limitations were obscured by the media and the public, who instead saw him as a symbol of strength and perseverance. Similarly, Kennedy's chronic pain and struggles with Addison's disease were kept hidden from the public, despite their potential impact on his ability to perform the duties of the presidency. These examples highlighted the tension between a leader's personal privacy and the public's desire for transparency. In more recent times, similar questions had been raised about other political figures. During the 2016 presidential campaign, concerns about Hillary Clinton's health became a major talking point after she was seen stumbling while leaving a memorial service. Similarly, questions about Joe Biden's fitness for office had been raised due to his age and occasional verbal missteps. These instances, while different in nature from Trump's health challenges, underscored a recurring pattern. The health of political leaders is often as much about perception as it is about reality. The role of social media in shaping public perception for Trump, the conversation about his health had taken on a life of its own, largely fueled by social media. Platforms like Twitter and TikTok became hubs for speculation, with users posting videos, memes, and commentary at an unprecedented pace. The speed at which information, both true and false, spread across these platforms only intensified the public's focus on Trump's condition. One particular viral video, which purported to show Trump struggling to descend a set of stairs, garnered millions of views within hours. While the video was later debunked, it had been taken years earlier and edited to appear as though it had been filmed recently. The damage was already done, however. The video became a symbol of how quickly misinformation could spread and how difficult it was to contain once it took hold. The media's role: speculation versus truth. Amidst the chaos of viral videos, news outlets continued to cover Trump's health with increasing intensity. Some voices within the journalistic community began to call for more restraint, urging reporters to focus on the facts rather than feeding into the speculative frenzy. A prominent journalist published an op-ed in early February, urging caution in the coverage of Trump's health. "Speculation is not fact," he wrote. "Our role as journalists is to seek the truth, not to amplify rumours." This op-ed sparked a debate within the media about the ethical responsibilities of journalists in covering sensitive topics. Some agreed with the call for restraint, arguing that the media had gone too far in sensationalising Trump's health issues. Others, however, felt that the public's interest justified the intense scrutiny, especially given the high stakes involved. For many, it was a matter of striking the right balance between curiosity and responsibility, transparency and privacy, leadership, accountability, and the public's right to know. At the heart of this debate were critical questions about leadership in the modern age. What does it mean for a leader to be fit for office? Is it simply a matter of physical health, or does it extend to mental acuity, emotional resilience, and the ability to handle stress? These questions were not unique to Trump's case, but they gained renewed importance in light of his health crisis. The power of the presidency demanded a level of scrutiny, and when doubts arose about the person occupying the office, the American public had a right to know whether their leader was capable of fulfilling the demanding responsibilities of the role. As rumours and speculation intensified, the public's desire for transparency grew. But how much should the public really know about their leaders' private lives? Where was the line between legitimate concern and invasive speculation? These were thorny issues that many struggled to answer. On one hand, the public had a right to know whether the person entrusted with the highest office in the land was physically and mentally capable of handling the pressures of leadership. On the other hand, it could be argued that there was a limit to how much personal information should be exposed, especially when the individual's health was a private matter that could be exploited for political gain. The power of the media and social platforms. In the context of modern politics, the media and social platforms played a central role in shaping public opinion. While the administration steadfastly avoided releasing a detailed medical report, the media filled the void with speculation and analysis. Public appearances by Trump became events carefully scrutinized, with journalists and commentators analyzing his every movement, his demeanor, and even his tone of voice. Every appearance became another opportunity for the media to assess his health, whether they were qualified to do so or not. The role of social media in amplifying these concerns cannot be understated. Platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and Reddit were rife with theories, some well-founded and others entirely outlandish. It became increasingly difficult to separate fact from fiction, as people from all walks of life joined the conversation, offering their opinions and analyses. The viral nature of social media meant that information, both true and false, spread quickly, leading to a snowball effect of public questioning. Despite the Trump administration's repeated assurances, the absence of hard evidence only seemed to fuel the fire. The evolving narrative. From health crisis to broader questions. As February came to a close, the Trump health crisis had evolved from a personal issue into something much broader. What began as a series of rumours about Trump's well-being now touched on larger themes of transparency, accountability, and the relationship between leaders and the public. At its core, the conversation was no longer solely about Trump's physical state. It had become a case study in modern governance, where personal and public lives often collide. This shift in focus was marked by an intense debate about the very nature of public service. What does it mean for a leader to be transparent? And, in a world where public figures are under constant scrutiny, how can leaders maintain some level of privacy without undermining their accountability? For some, the lack of transparency regarding Trump's health was a clear sign of evasiveness. For others, it was a reminder of the very real challenge of balancing personal privacy with the need to be open to the public. The Transparency and Leadership Act, a bipartisan effort. In March, as the debate raged on, a bipartisan bill aimed at addressing these issues was introduced in Congress. The Transparency and Leadership Act proposed a new framework for ensuring that high-ranking officials, including the President, would undergo annual medical evaluations conducted by independent panels of physicians. The results of these evaluations would be made publicly available, ensuring that the health of leaders was no longer a matter of speculation, but one based on verifiable facts. The bill quickly gained attention from both sides of the political spectrum. Supporters of the legislation argued that it was a crucial step in ensuring accountability for public officials, especially those in positions of immense power. They pointed out that the health of a leader is of national interest, as it directly affects their ability to govern. Given the stress and demands of the presidency, it was argued that the public had a right to know whether their leader was physically and mentally fit to perform the duties of the office. Opponents, however, voiced strong objections to the proposal. They argued that it represented an unnecessary and intrusive overreach into personal privacy, setting a dangerous precedent for government control over personal matters. Some critics suggested that the bill could be used as a tool for political opponents to attack or discredit leaders, rather than as a genuine effort to improve transparency. The bill sparked a national conversation, with media outlets covering the potential implications of such legislation. Trump's public response: a masterclass in deflection. Amidst the growing controversy over his health, Trump made a high-profile public appearance at a televised town hall in Ohio in early March. The event was designed to demonstrate his connection with the American people, offering a blend of policy discussions and personal anecdotes. During the town hall, Trump was confronted directly by a retired nurse who asked him pointedly about the rumors surrounding his health. Her question was respectful, but it was clear that she was seeking a definitive answer. Trump's response, as expected, was a masterclass in deflection. "First of all, let me thank you for your service as a nurse," he began, pivoting immediately to a compliment. "We need more people like you in this country now." He then continued, "As for these so-called concerns, let me be clear. I'm as strong as ever. The media loves to create drama, but the truth is, I'm ready to lead, and I'm ready to deliver for the American people." The audience responded with a round of applause, but the response did little to quell the skepticism of his critics. The media response to his answer was mixed. Supporters saw it as a strong, decisive declaration of his fitness for office, while critics pointed out the lack of specifics and the dismissive tone. Political analysts debated whether Trump's approach was strategic, deflecting attention from the issue while asserting his strength, or whether it was simply an attempt to avoid giving a more substantive answer: the long shadow of the health crisis. As March continued, the focus of media coverage slowly shifted away from Trump's health and toward other pressing political issues. Announcements about Trump's first 100 days in office, including economic recovery plans, infrastructure initiatives, and national security strategies, began to dominate the headlines. Yet the health crisis, though no longer in the spotlight, had not been fully resolved. It lingered in the background like a shadow, always present, a reminder of the unanswered questions that still hung over the president-elect. Even as the health issue faded from the headlines, the calls for reform continued. The Transparency and Leadership Act remained a topic of conversation, and its future in Congress remained uncertain. However, the very fact that the bill had been introduced and gained significant attention was seen by many as a sign of progress. It represented a shift in the conversation, signalling that transparency and accountability were becoming more central to the public's understanding of leadership. The enduring impact of the health crisis narrative. In the end, the narrative surrounding Trump's health became more than just a media frenzy. It evolved into a symbol of the larger challenges of leadership in the 21st century, where personal and public lives are often intertwined, where transparency is demanded, and where the line between privacy and accountability is constantly being redefined. The health crisis served as a microcosm of Trump's political career, highlighting the complex dynamics between the leader and the public. For some, it reinforced their belief in Trump's resilience and ability to overcome adversity. For others, it deepened their skepticism and raised further questions about his fitness for office. As March came to a close, the issue of Trump's health may have receded into the background, but the questions it raised about leadership, transparency, and accountability would not easily be forgotten. The legacy of the health crisis would continue to shape the public's perception of Trump and the broader conversation about the role of public figures in an era where the boundaries between the private and public spheres are increasingly blurred.